Welcome into another edition of the AHSAA Podcast. I'm your host, Caleb Brooks, soon going to be joined by Coach Derek Wynn as well as Logan Patterson from the Section High School boys basketball team who came away with the 2A boys state championship this past season. An unbelievable run, as I said in the previous podcast. A lot of people had counted them out. I didn't know much about them. A lot of people thought that it was going to be Lynette, Midfield, one of those two teams competing for the state championship, and Section ended up handling both of them. And their win over Lynette at the state finals was super impressive. They dominated them, they handled them, ended up moving on, defeating Mars Hill for the state championship. And look forward to talking with both of them. And Logan will move on and will continue his basketball career next year. And always great to see student athletes from the state of Alabama having those type of opportunities. And we wish Logan nothing but luck as he moves on. And then going to follow that up with Barry Dean from the Alabama Baseball Coaches Association. If you don't know much about the Alabama Baseball Coaches Association, Barry took over that association a while ago. He has done a lot. A lot of people know my dad's a baseball coach. And so he's been affected by the ALABCA personally throughout his career. He's an ALABCA Hall of Famer, and Barry's done a lot for the ALABCA. And we at R&B Media, the company that I work for and who we are here with the AHSAA Radio Network, we have a contract with him. We do some things with Barry. I go to his events and I get to see firsthand the impact that he has on a lot of the kids here in the state. I was able to receive that impact firsthand as a player back when I was playing baseball and going to some of the events the ALABCA had, and earning a college opportunity through some of Barry's stuff, through getting seen at that type of stuff. So looking forward to having him on, discussing what's coming up for them. They have a huge summer coming up, and the kids love being a part of that. So should be a great conversation with Derek Wynn, Logan Patterson, and then Barry Dean with the ALABCA coming up here on the AHSAA Podcast. I want to welcome in our next guest here on the AHSAA Podcast, Logan Patterson from Section High School up in Section, Alabama, the 2A state champs, as well as Coach Derek Wynn, head coach there at Section High School. And Coach, first off, thank you to both of you guys for taking the time this morning to join me on here. And then also congratulations to y'all on an incredible season this year and accomplishing what you guys were able to accomplish and winning the state championship this year.
Thank you guys for having us.
Coach, I'm not going to lie to you. I've spent all year going around talking to people. And when we talked about 2A, it was two teams that got mentioned most of the time. And it was two teams that you guys ended up handling really, really, really easily for the most part in Midfield and Lynette. A lot of people, I think, thought that you were going to have a rematch with those two teams and that those teams would end up matching up with each other in Birmingham. And it was a little bit of a shocker, I think, to people that didn't know. Obviously, it probably wasn't a shocker to you guys, but to people that just, didn't know, it was a little bit of a shocker. And not the fact that y'all beat them, but the way that y'all just handled Midfield there in the regional final. What was really the key to y'all's success in that game and, really just dominating that game from start to finish for the most part?
Well, dominating is a strong word, but, the number one game we had circled was regional final against Midfield. It was talked about at the end of the Sandrock game, sub-regional game last year when we got put out, and that was one that was circled. So, to make it to that point, we felt good about, and not to talk about Midfield through the season was really big for us. We started looking towards Midfield, and then we kind of scaled it back to going one game at a time, and that's what we did, and ended up getting the opportunity to play those guys. At halftime, it's a 1 point game, and we're sitting there looking around like we can do this, and we knew we had the guys to do it. A big senior leadership roles that all of our guys had, and just the confidence of the weight room that they put in and their skills just really gave us confidence to play those guys.
Big Johnson was obviously a big player for them. What were y'all able to do to kind of have success against him, defending him and kind of limiting some of his opportunities in that game?
Yeah, well, we knew he was going to get his. He ended up with 22 points, great player, very well coached team. So we knew he was going to get his. It was just the fact of trying to keep those guys in front and make them go through us and have to shoot the ball over us was the main thing. In my opinion, we have had one of the best defenders in Alabama, in Caden Bradford. There's not a guy that I can even think of that he can't guard, and Caden has that confidence. He don't score a lot. If he gets 4 points, we're tickled to death, and that's gravy. But his main job is to hold guys down. And in that stretch from area tournament on, he took pride in that and really shut guys down. Had a bad ankle injury right before the Lynette game, so that kind of limited his minutes on that game. But come back and gutted it out in the state championship. But the biggest thing with him was just making them shoot over us and trying to keep the ball in front the best we could.
Logan, Coach kind of said that y'all had the midfield game circled, and that was one that you guys wanted for a long time. I can remember, like, when I was a player, when you have one of those games where you look forward to it so much, I mean, just the anticipation for it and how antsy you were. Kind of describe to me what those emotions were like before that game, once you guys, won the game, to get into that game, knowing that you guys were going to play them, and what the build up to that game was like for y'all emotionally.
Just, when we, hit playoffs and we're just taking one game at a time. But when we beat Cleveland, we was kind of like, all right, we got it right where we want them. And we just, we knew our preparation was, good, that we, hit the weight room hard, and we knew their scouting report. We just knew that if we just went out and played basketball like we can, that, we're one of the best teams in the state, and I feel like we proved that.
Did y'all feel like that y'all had a little bit of a chip on your shoulder? I mean, as I just mentioned, people, when they talked about 2A, it was midfield and Lynette for the most part. Was there a little bit of a chip on y'all's shoulder knowing that y'all weren't getting mentioned as much in that conversation?
Yes, sir. I felt like, we took the underdog role, that we felt like we had to prove something every game. And I feel like that's just the way you want to play, with your back's on the wall, that people don't believe in you, so you just got to show them.
And it worked out perfect. I mean, these guys went 19-1 over the summer. They beat Grissom over the summer. Hewitt Trustful, the only team we lost to was McEachern, Georgia, at Jacksonville State. And, we only lost to them by 10, I think. And it was a close game, but it was the last game of game 5, of the day for us. So, that worked so well in my favor of playing that underdog card because these dudes bought in 100%. And it wasn't a lie. I mean, everybody was putting us, not even in the top 5 conversation, so it worked out well for us.
Coach, you bring up summer. Didn't have a summer last year going into last season because of COVID and everything that had happened. What kind of difference did having a summer this year, playing the 20 games, what kind of difference did that make for your team?
A lot of times that summer just, brings your team together, and it kind of gives you an opportunity to see who can do what and what kind of roles they can do. We developed that, and, with 10 seniors, we kind of knew what we had. It wasn't a secret. I've had these guys since they were 9th graders, and nothing was a secret. So, having that summer, we kind of already knew. But, the biggest thing for these guys was learning their role and accepting their role, and every one of them did that. And that's why we were successful.
Logan, he mentioned it, 10 seniors. You guys grown up together. You've been around each other your whole lives. What kind of difference did that make in just the makeup of this team? The fact that y'all, always been around each other and obviously had a really, really tight bond.
It meant everything. We're like the closest 10 guys that you'll ever meet. We're all the time doing something together all weekends. But it just helps having that chemistry of, growing up together. Like, I knew where somebody was, where their sweet spot is, where we want to get the ball to each other. It just helps when we're, playing the, chemistry is just so much better.
How special is it, like that moment when you're jumping around on the court, you're celebrating the championship and it's you 10 seniors and this is what y'all look forward to. How special was that moment for you guys?
It's surreal. It still hasn't really set in. It was crazy. Just know that, we actually did it. Like, it all paid off and we went out with a bang. It was just crazy to get to do it on that big stage and for, us and our community and stuff.
Scoring kind of seemed to come easy to you. It felt like in Birmingham, you were able to score in bunches and, you did a great job of controlling the game and keeping everybody in line. And you really stepped up on the biggest stage when you look at the last 4 games of the season and how you played. What allowed you to elevate your game the way that you were able to over the last 4 games?
Just Coach Wynn and Coach Hart, giving me the green light and just having, really good teammates just put me in good positions to score and pass. And I just felt like, just having to be a senior leader and just controlling the game and having, 4 guys with me on the court that are just as good as me. So that, it just helps out. And Coach Wynn, he puts us in great positions to succeed. He gives us the rock and, he has confidence in us to make plays.
Coach, did it surprise you any, the way that he played and just the way that he was so consistent over the last 4 games and scoring just kind of came easily at times? Did any of it surprise you at all?
Not really. I mean, look, Logan puts in the work more than anybody I've been around. When I got here, my first year, he was a 9th grader. It was me and him. I brought him, as far as moving him up to varsity with me, just because you could see something different, and that's the biggest thing. Most of the time, those guys, they've just got a different look in their eyes. Area tournament on, you could see a different look for him. And when guys are like that, there's no need in holding them back.
Logan, you're now going to continue your basketball career at Maryville, and congrats to you on that. And tell me what it was about Maryville that really attracted your attention, and kind of let you know that that's the place that you want to be at.
Just when I stepped on campus, that it felt like home, felt like something kind of similar to section, and the play type. Coach Baceris up there, he does a great job, and I felt like it fit our system here. So I felt like when I come in, it won't be a lot of, new stuff. I feel like I'll just be, coming into something very similar.
When you start playing, I mean, that's what you dream of, is playing college sports and making it to that level. And so when you kind of started getting the opportunities, had coaches start reaching out to you, how satisfying of a feeling was that, knowing that you were going to get the chance to continue into play?
Yes, sir. It was a blessing. I've worked, hard for it. And it was just kind of surreal to get to, actually get that offer and the looks and stuff. It was just very humbling. But it just mean that the work, it's just getting started from there.
Coach, you look around your area up there, and when we left the finals, we all said, hey, look, it's Northeast Alabama right now. They dominate basketball in the state. And you look at where a lot of the champions come from, it's that area. How fun is it to be in that area and to, when you're making a scheduling is not an easy thing to do, but it's got to make it a lot easier for you to find good competition, knowing that you have a lot of teams that are just right up the road that all are capable of winning a state championship in a year.
Absolutely. And sections of basketball community, but not just sections, just anywhere up here in the Northeast, basketball is going to be played, and it's going to be played, in my opinion, at a high level. The biggest problem with scheduling is trying not to schedule too hard, because you can get in some situations where you're sitting there in December and you're below 500, and if you've got a young team, that could really affect you. So scheduling can be easy, but you've got to be pretty strategic on how you're going to get those games. But as far as basketball, especially on Sand Mountain, boys, girls, doesn't matter. I mean, it's up there with anybody in the state, in my opinion.
For both of you guys, was there ever a point during this season where there was a little bit of doubt maybe that crept in? You guys maybe weren't playing well for a little bit of time. Was there ever a time period where you guys were going, maybe we're not going to be able to do this? Maybe things just aren't coming together the way that we thought that they could at one time?
I'll let you answer that one.
So I think it was like the second week of December, we went and played Winfield in a tournament and lost. We had some guys out, they was sick. And we just went on a stretch there that whole week and a half, where we couldn't buy a bucket. We had some sickness and stuff. We was like, dang, is it? We was kind of like not as confident in ourselves, because we was like, is this really going to happen again? So, but when we went up to, we played in the Sand Mountain tournament against Plainview, we had a really good first half. We was like, we think we got our mojo back. And then we went up to Cerebreville, Tennessee, playing a tournament up there. And I think that's really when it switched around, that we started playing better, started making more shots. And I feel like that helped us.
We went in a stretch in December. I don't even know if we were 500 in December. We went through sickness. I mean, I can throw out a bunch of excuses, but bottom line, we just wasn't getting it done. Everybody really hadn't accepted their roles they had in November, and then it kind of dropped off in December. Skyline beat us, Winfield beat us. We lost 3 in Sevier County High School in a tournament up there. Plainview beat us. I mean, it was just one of them deals where Coach Hart and myself looked at each other and was like, dang, we might make it to the sub-regional, but all of a sudden, like he said, we lost 3 in Sevier County, and then even though we was 0-3 up there, something just clicked, and you could see that we was kind of turning the corner. And then we go into the first week of January and we just start rolling. Really what sent us over the top, I feel like, was Jackson County tournament. We played really well during that tournament. The county championship was against North Sand Mountain, who's a great team up here in this area and a big rival for us. And we played lights out, and that was the turning point as far as getting out of that slump. And that was Martin Luther King week. We played Grissom that Monday, 10, 12-point game, had a sure shot. And then the championship on that Saturday. And from then on, it was just rock on, and you could see a different look in their eyes.
When you guys were struggling, there had to be a little part of you that was like, hey, if we're going to struggle, this is the time of year to do it, right here in December. And was it kind of maybe an example to you, Coach, of, trying to form it in the future of playing your best ball at the right time and maybe, having it to where you go through some struggles in December because of, you saw the way that this team was able to come out of it?
Absolutely. And I've been a part of some good teams to where we peaked too early, and by the time county tournament hit, we're avalanching and there's no pulling us back. So we did talk about that in December. Is we're seniors, act like it. You're not going to go 20% the rest of the year. That's not possible because that's not who we are as far as shooting. Defensively, we changed, probably got better in that stretch because we wasn't making buckets. So we had to gear our focus on the defensive side of the ball a little bit more. But as far as that, it was perfect. You could kind of see looking back now on how things progressed through the year and seeing that we hit the slump in the right time and then we peaked at the right time.
Logan, kind of explain to me just what it's like to be on that floor, be underneath those lights, especially now the renovated BJCC, y'all got the cool intros for the state championship with the lights going out and the spotlight and, all that type of stuff. Just what is it like to be on that stage, to be on that court and to be in front of as many people as were in that arena when you guys played those 2 games?
You feel like a little kid for a little bit when you first run out and, you feel like you're on an island. But, that was some of the coolest memories I'll ever take with me is just being on that big stage and getting to play with some of my best friends. And just the atmosphere was like, it was just no other.
With the intros, I've said, it's as close to a college basketball intro, NBA type basketball intro and stuff. How when you're getting to do that and that's happening and stuff, and you're about to play the biggest game of your life. Just how cool was that moment for you guys to get to do that and to to be the center of attention right there at that place for just that time period?
It was cool. You felt like you was big time for a little bit. You got to be like, everybody's looking at you, because you're kind of like a little famous for a little bit. So it was very cool.
What has it been like getting back to section since winning the state championship, when you guys got back the day of the winning the championship, and then really since then, what are some of the things that y'all have done to celebrate?
Not really a lot. It's still kind of hitting with us, but we woke up the day after and went to baseball practice, so we didn't have too much time to relax and celebrate. We just went and did something else. But we go out and eat and we hang out, and we just kind of like think back on it. We really did that.
And they did on the way home, on the bus ride home, they had everybody at the school waiting on us when we pulled up and, celebrating, as far as that goes and taking pictures and stuff. So it has been nice. The community support is unbelievable here. And like I said, this is a basketball community. It's important here. And, for these guys to go out like they did, something they talked about since they even picked up a basketball, watching the older guys, and to be able to do that and be one of the best that ever come through this place is pretty special for this group.
Coach, Logan said we didn't really have much time to celebrate. We had to, go to baseball really the next day. But what do you think that says just about this group of guys? Whereas, they didn't really take time to celebrate. They say, hey, we know we have another sport that we have to go get ready for. And so let's just go prepare for that and try to be the best we can at that now.
Yeah, and I think that's what separates these guys. They just love to compete. It doesn't matter what it is, whether it's grades in the classroom or a baseball field, football field, basketball court, it doesn't matter. These guys like to compete, and that separates guys, and it does. And I hope that my young guys see that there's something different about this group. And it goes back to just wanting to compete and be the best at what you do.
Logan, when you play as long as you guys do from a baseball standpoint, that's a lot of time that you guys have missed. I mean, you missed the whole, month of January with the throwing period, all preseason practice. Other teams had already been playing, games when you guys were still playing. How has that affected things with your baseball team, the fact that so many of you guys did play so long in basketball and missed so much time with baseball?
Not a lot, for the first week or so, it, affected us, but, we've just, we're competitors like Coach Wynn says. So we just, we work hard every day, and we've got back at it, and I think we're doing pretty well so far.
What is the strength of your baseball team in your opinion? Now that you guys have been around each other for about a month out there, what do you think this baseball team is really good at, and what is something that can carry you guys to maybe having the same level of success on the baseball field?
I just feel like we're winners, like we just find ways to win. We might get down or something, but we just, find ways to win. We chip away. I feel like we're just all competitors and we're winners. So that just gives us an edge over any team, really.
You're going to play, college basketball, like we mentioned earlier, but you're a multi-sport athlete here at the high school level. Where has that benefited you the most, in your opinion, playing multiple sports and having multiple things that you do during the year, not just focusing on one thing?
Yes, sir. It's helped a lot, just being, getting to do a lot of stuff, getting to work with a lot of things, learning new stuff. And I just feel like it's, been a blessing to get to, do other stuff than basketball, because it gives me time to, stay in shape for basketball. We get to, take some time away to relax from it as much.
Coach, do you like having multiple sport athletes? I mean, is that something that you encourage and something that you want your guys to do, is to play multiple sports and be involved in multiple things?
Absolutely. When I was here going through high school, I played 4 sports. I played every one of them that I could. I feel like my guys need to. They don't need to be around me all the time, and I don't need to be around them all the time. That's just the way it is. And I've been blessed with multiple sport athletes. Really at a school like section or any 2A or 1A or 3A for that matter, you've got to have multiple sport athletes to be successful. This group does it better than anybody.
What is now going to be the toughest part preparing for next year? Saying goodbye to 10 seniors, a lot of experience, going away. And so what's going to be the toughest part of trying to get next year's group ready to defend a title that a lot of the guys that won it, aren't going to be around to defend the title? Yeah.
Well, the biggest thing spring and summer is going to be really big for us is just trying to piece stuff together and figure out who we are as a basketball team. Typically my JV and junior high do the same thing as the varsity does, but I mean, truth be known, they're not the same athletes and same basketball players that are leaving me. So we've got to figure out what we're going to do, what's going to be successful, and we've got to put these guys in the best place to be successful. And I'm really looking forward to it. The good thing about this group is everybody sees 10 seniors going. There's no pressure. We get to play basketball. We get to enjoy it. There's no pressure of a repeat because everybody sees the 10 seniors leaving, So, from that standpoint, it'll be fun. It'll be a lot of fun to see how we can piece everything together. But I also hope that those guys sit there and watch these 10 seniors, and learn something from them instead of just going through the motions and doing what they want to do. So it'll be fun. It'll be interesting to say the least. But summer is going to be huge for us.
Give me your assessment on Logan here and what you feel like he needs to work on the most and where he's going to have to improve the most in order to be a successful college basketball player.
Yeah. Well, as far as his motor, there's no problem with his motor. When we were together, his ninth grade year, his outside range was not very good. He's worked on it, but that's going to be something he's going to have to continue to work on. You know, he can get around anybody anytime and finish at the rim. So, you know, finishing on free throws and outside is going to be one of his biggest keys to being successful. But there's no doubt in my mind that he's going to put in the extra time and do that and be great at that. And then hopefully he can come back and help me coach when he graduates college.
Logan, what are you looking forward to most about playing college basketball and getting to be at that level?
Just to get to compete at one of the highest levels, you know, just getting to work hard and getting to experience stuff. And, you know, one thing I think is cool about it is, the basketball gets to take me places that I, haven't imagined, getting to play at Birmingham and Jacksonville and all that. And then, going to college, and it's going to take me places that I've never thought about. But that's just one thing. And, I like to work. I know that the work up there is going to be different, but I think it's going to be fun.
What are you going to miss the most about, playing high school basketball, being in high school, and especially just being at section?
Just the community support. The home games are like no other. I mean, section is a basketball community, like Coach Wynn said, and it's surreal to, come out of the Lions Den, with the music and all the students and the fans. And it's surreal to get to put on that section jersey and you get to rep, your community.
Coach, what are you going to miss the most about this senior group? They've been with you since you took over there at section. They're the first group that has, all 4 years of high school, they've been there with you. And so what are you going to miss the most about these guys?
Probably their leadership, and this is a good group just to be around. We enjoy, most of the time you have that disconnect between coach and players. These guys know how to cut up and have a good time, but they also know how to turn it off. And when we're serious, and it's time to get to work. A lot of people have trouble doing that, separating the two. This group never had that problem. This is one of the closest groups I've been in or been with. I had a real close group at Scottsboro with that group of girls, but I left them to come here. And you don't get those groups much. And when you do, it's something that you dread seeing go. But, these guys will be successful in anything they do. And I look forward to seeing what's in store for them down the road.
Guys, really, really appreciate you taking the time to join me here on the AHSAA podcast. And again, congratulations to y'all on what y'all were able to accomplish this year and having a fantastic year. And Logan, good luck to you as you move on and, do a special thing, getting to go and play college basketball. And Coach, good luck to you guys. We look forward to seeing your group next year and a bunch of new guys out there and seeing how you're able to do it.
Thank you. And we appreciate what you do.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. I want to welcome in our next guest here on the AHSAA podcast, Barry Dean from the Alabama Baseball Coaches Association. Barry, we've talked to you before. Obviously, we at R&B Media do some work with you, and me and you work hand in hand a good bit. But you have been over the Alabama Baseball Coach Association now for a long, long time, and you've done a fantastic job with it. We've talked about, I'm a guy that went through it. I benefited from your organization and what you do with your organization. But you have been doing this a long time now. And you've told me the story on, our ALABCA interviews, but just kind of tell people really your background as a coach, as a, player, that type of stuff, and how you ended up getting into being the, executive director of the ALABCA.
Sure. I'll give you the Cliff Notes version. I walked on at Chattahoochee Valley in 1983. I was such a good baseball player. I told people I've had many, many options. It was just to be as a walk-on. So I walked on at Chattahoochee Valley in 1983, made the team, earned a scholarship, actually became a team captain. My third year there, I was so good. I stayed there 3 years. Just had to work out and lift weights and get stronger. Became captain. We won the state title in 1986, got a scholarship to AUM. Coach Flo started the program there. Played minimal. I really got good. Started my coaching career early because I got good at throwing batting practice to players. I wasn't playing as much, and that's just part of it. And but I got really good at throwing batting practice, and that carried on even to this day. But was a graduate assistant at Troy. Got my master's degree in Troy State back in the day, and at Troy University. What a great place to be. Little did I know we'd host our All-Star event there from 2005 to now, but. Just I coached for 2 years of high school and 15 years of college, either as assistant 4-year coach or head junior college coach. The ALABCA was formed in 1995 by a high school coach. First December, whenever at Hoover High School was the first clinic. I attended that like 75, 80 other coaches. Really good setup. And the guy asked them, who wants to help out? I need volunteers. And I stepped forward being a young college coach. Mostly high school coaches helped out on the committee, like maybe William Booth or Sammy Dunn and other coaches. Actually, Chip Lindsey helped out early on of football fame now, who went on obviously into the football world to become very successful, as we've heard. So other guy, Daryl Cooper, a lot of other guys like that were on board helping out. And I did a lot of the work, and I was young and fired up and saw the vision of this association that was blessed to be started by Robert Proctor from Talladega High School at the time. And then I just did a lot. So from 1995 to 2000, I did the convention. The second year, that let me do the coaches clinic, which I called a convention, which was the big thing. Just did a lot from then to 2000. When the guy who formed it got out of coaching, then the guys on the committee said, Barry, you're doing a lot of this stuff. Why don't you take it over? And I was a young junior college coach then at that time, and had gone from Troy to being a junior college coach, assistant coach. And I took it over and just really ran with it. It was a volunteer position, but I did it full time. I was single coaching. And just loved doing it, and saw kind of a vision where I thought it could go, because I'd been to Georgia's Dugout Club clinic before, and they did a great job. Had some when I was younger, had influences on me from guys in Georgia. So I ran with it, made us 501c3 through a lawyer who did that in Montgomery, who did that work, and just really took off from there. And Caleb, it's just that when you're looking back on it, you don't think about it then, but the Lord had blessed me to have a passion to do it, as I love coaching, and just to run with it, to serve the game on a broader scale in Alabama, above and beyond my coaching. And eventually it took over. 2004 and 2005, I did it full time when I got out of coaching. Got back into coaching at Lawson State 2006 to 2009 as a head coach, and still ran the association. You know, it kind of by default, no one else wanted to do it. You know, it's kind of like when you're in the room and say, shh, let him keep doing it. We don't want to mess that up, because no one else wants to do it. But I was still into it. Even at Lawson, the president at Lawson State knew I was going to run it, but it didn't interfere with my Lawson State duties. After 2009, the baseball season, I told the president at Lawson State, Dr. Perry Ward, who was such a good man to even hire me in the first place, especially my career before then. I didn't have the best resume, but loved the game and loved coaching. But I said, look, Doc, I'm going to go back and run the association full time, and recommended Blake Lewis to take over at Lawson, who's done a way better job than I did. I run a good program, but he's gotten better players. He's a great recruiter, and Blake does a great job. I'm happy for him. So after 2009, I went back to doing it full time, and it's really been blessed unbelievably with the people who have helped, the programs we do, the financial situation. I'm not doing it for the money, but even I've been paid a little more, not to get rich, and that's not the goal, but even overall the finances, even during COVID, we were very blessed with success in our events and our programs financially. I can't, and many people have helped me along the way and supported us to really make this thing go.
You can tell when you really stepped in again full time from, after the 2009 season, that's kind of when the ALABCA, I think, took that next step. You really invested, you made the decision, I'm taking this on full time. This is going to be what I do. And I feel like you can really look back and tell at that time, that's when the ALABCA really took the steps that it's taken now to becoming really, when you look at other, coach association around the country, there may be some that are as good, but there's not any that are better than what we have with the ALABCA here in Alabama.
Well, I reach out to all the other baseball coach associations in the country, to be honest with you. I'm the guy, literally every state that has a baseball coach association, there may be 30 or 35. I have all their cell phone numbers. We met 3 years ago in Nashville before COVID. I met with 15 guys from all around the country. I started the meeting at a little restaurant on Thursday night after all the committee meetings are with ABCA high school and college and Division 2, 3, 1, JUCO. They have all their meetings on that Thursday night before the convention starts Friday at 9 o'clock. After those meetings, I had a meeting in a little in a back room of a restaurant area in the Opryland Hotel, and about 15 guys from around the country showed up, and we swapped ideas. I've kept touch with all those guys. We've had a couple Zoom meetings, talk about how to run our associations better. I went to Texas this past January and was one of their speakers. They were scraping the barrel, but Rex asked me to come out and sit in their committee meeting number 1 and to be a speaker. And my topic was how to serve the game of baseball in your state. And I talked about what we do and ways they could serve if they aren't already doing it in Texas. So I do it more. I'm not smarter. I'm not bigger, stronger, faster. I wasn't as a player, and I'm not saying I'm doing that now, but I am into our association more than a lot of guys are in other states because they're coaches and they're still full-time coaching. And but I do reach out to them to learn from them and what they're doing. And I definitely kind of tell them what we're doing. I've used R&B media to tell them what we're doing with you guys and how y'all are serving us, and showing them the videos y'all have done about our convention, things we're doing like our all-star event, and they can make videos on their events and send them to sponsors and players and parents and coaches, and even use y'all definitely to show them what they could do in their state. So just because I do it full time, I'm involved with the Montgomery Chamber of Commerce. I've gotten us some state funds from senators because I just go down there face to face and I lobby for our association. I'm not a lobbyist, but I lobby for our association, and we've got some state funding, and I've told other states you can do that. We're very educational. We help kids get scholarships. You've been to our all-star event. We help them get seen, and people will say not to take the high school coach out of the picture at all. I always give praise to high school coaches, but we've helped at our event where kids will say, hey, I got a scholarship right after I came there, or at your event, they offered me a scholarship. So we've just been a vehicle for kids to get scholarships, as other people have as well. So all those things, I've had more time, and the Miracle League dinner's really taken off. Our first pitch dinner that helps the Miracle Leagues in Alabama. And it's just been blessed. When I'm doing it full time, I can get out more and see, going to the Miracle League tonight in Andalusia to volunteer. And I've gotten Andalusia's junior varsity high school to join me because the varsity's playing. This Sunday, I'll be at Vestavia Hills. I'm going to have Lawson State Community College baseball team joining me for one game at Center Point in high school. Good friend of Perry, Anthony Burden, to join me for the other game, get them out to volunteer for the Miracle Leagues. And when I'm doing it full time, I can do that more. And I'm just blessed that people have come on board to help us more and to be a part of what we're doing.
You mentioned Center Point, and the Miracle League dinner. You had the Miracle League dinner a couple of weeks ago. We had Lee Smith come and speak, and he was a great guy. Just, like I told people when we left there, he such a nice guy. He was friendly to everybody. He was willing to talk to anybody, take a picture with anyone. Just really such a great guy. And on top of that, you had planned a minority baseball tournament, which was going to include Park Crossing, Center Point, Midfield, and I'm missing one other. Who was the other team?
Central Haynesville, maybe?
Central Haynesville. Yeah, that was the other one. And so, the rain ended up making it where we couldn't play. They were going to get to play at the Biscuit Stadium and do all that. But the Miracle League dinner this year with Lee Smith being there, those kids getting to be there and listen to him talk, and him getting to give the talk at breakfast, that type of stuff. How important do you think that can be for those baseball programs, and them seeing a figure like Lee Smith right there in front of them and talking to them about baseball?
Yeah. We did. They came to the dinner. We quote sponsored that, and it has some sponsorship folks. Montgomery County Commission helped sponsor with that. Also, Southern Power Company, who also gave us $10,000 for the Miracle League this year. And back in November, you remember that, I tweeted that out. Southern Power Company, part of the Alabama Power Division, but those guys in Birmingham, John Trowick and those guys, his team, gave us that $10,000 check. We gave that to the West Mobile effort to building America League complex down there. But and they came on board to sponsor the minority tournament. We still had the kids. Lee met with the kids at breakfast at the Riverwalk Stadium that next morning, Thursday morning. We had a little Jack's biscuit breakfast that we sponsored. Lee talked to them. The Tuskegee University head baseball coach, Reggie Hollins, did a great job at Tuskegee. Reggie he spoke to the kids that morning. You were there. We got the kids to the Rosa Parks Museum. We paid for that, and also to the Legacy Museum. So all four teams went through that, had a great time, and still very educational. We're offering a $1,500 scholarship to those seniors who were there and did an application. So we still made it the best we could do without the games, of course, the hard rain the night before. But yeah, Lee Smith, the minority from Louisiana, good old outside of Shreveport, Louisiana guy. Down to earth and humble, and talking to the kids, and being a Hall of Famer. So yeah, he did a great job, as Reggie Holland did as well. Holland's dealing with college kids and so forth. So overall, that was a huge success, games withstanding, and had support from Montgomery County Commission, Southern Power Company, and just Montgomery Biscuits. We're going to give us a discount on using the field. Brendan Porter down there. They do, the Biscuits do so much help serve this community tremendously with their time and their talent and their treasure as well. So yeah, just all around, I was excited about that and still am for the future moving forward.
Got some events now coming up over the next little bit for the ALABCA. Just kind of tell people what is coming up as we lead into the summer where things will really kick into gear. Yeah,
something we've got going right now. Mark Jackson with 429 Ministries, former high school coach at Lee, a baseball coach in Opelika, and a former associate pastor at Mulder Methodist in Wetumpka. He has his own ministry now, 429 Ministries. He and his wife live in Vestavia Hills. Mark, we're doing a series of virtues, and you're helping, of course, put that together for us. We email that out and text that to all the coaches. 8 weeks. Mark comes on and talks about a virtue, temperance, diligence, humility, and then we have a coach come on and talk about that, and we put it together, and you put it in an email for us. This coming week, we've got going out humility, and James Moody from Demopolis High School is our guest coach, and Mark does a great job with that as well. But we're sending that out. We're coming up on the 5th week of that. We have our unsigned high school senior workout. Been very successful. May 22nd at Mount Brook High School. Unsigned seniors can go online and register at alabca.org. They look in the upcoming events section. They'll see that where to register. We have several junior college coaches coming to that. We've had kids signed from that, Caleb. Micah Henderson from Prattville High School was not going to go and play college baseball. He came down to the LBW workout a few years ago. Frank Elliott signed him at Wallace of Selma. Kid was not going to go play ball, and he signed him. He did good at Selma. Marty Lovett signed him at AUM after that. I mean, holy smokes. The kid was not going to go play ball. His mom, who I actually know, urged him to go to the workout, and Frank signed him there. So kids have gotten signed from that before. So that's coming up May 22nd in Mountain Brook. Lee Gann's a gracious host up there, Coach Gann at Mountain Brook. And then, of course, we have the summer events. Of course, the JV All-Star event is our 5th year doing that at Troy University. And our varsity event is 23rd year in doing the varsity high school event. Your high school coach has to nominate you. Those have all been sent out to the high school coaches. Just fired up about all the events. We're trying to serve the kids and the coaches. We do an all academic team now. The coaches have to nominate their kids for that. You're on it if you're nominated, but that's sent out to the coaches a little closer toward the end of the year. We publish that and send it out. The team GPAs of varsity, I think, is 3.25 or better. Then the kids are 3.5 or better to be on the all academic team, first, second, or third team. And coaches who are members nominate their kids. And of course, they're on there if they have that 3.5 or above, or a team GPA of 3.25. So, a lot of things going on. We try to promote the kids and the coaches. And these are the way we do it. The scholarship day, I'm sorry, I'm leaving that out. At the AHSAA championships up at Jacksonville State this year, we have 6 kids, 5 receiving $1,500 scholarships to be used during their freshman year. 1, the $2,000 Student Athlete of the Year, named after Joe Mason, a kid from Alabama Christian this year, will receive that. So we're excited about that. And we honor them at the AHSAA final day on that Saturday, May 21st. And the kids and the parents are given free food and honored on the field during the 3rd inning. The AHSAA is gracious enough to recognize our kids. And so just a lot going on from now until the summer. But hey, that's why we do what we do.
No doubt. And then in the summer, the big event is down there at Troy. You have the varsity showcase event, you have the JV showcase event, and then the Southern Shootout, which has become a big thing now with, kids coming in from Georgia, Tennessee, Louisiana. I mean, just all around the Southeast. And some of the best players here from the state of Alabama get a chance to compete against the best players from other states. And so that is something that you've kind of changed now. It used to be you went to a workout, you got selected, things like that. Now it's coaches nominating their kids. And so for coaches that are listening to this and stuff, how long do they have to nominate their kids and to put them in to be selected to be down there at Troy?
Good question. June 13th through 15th is the varsity event. That's classes 2023 and 24. We call it the JV event. The next event, June 20 to 22nd. That's 2025, 26 kids. The coaches, they've already, I'll say the deadline's passed, but it's a soft deadline. You can keep nominating kids, but we're splitting teams up and we're going to invite kids. Johnny Johnson at James Clemens, my chairman of my board, who's done a great job with our All-Star event. He's kind of handling the nominations. I've got college coaches helping me pick the teams. A college coach can nominate a kid if a high school coach doesn't. A junior college, a four-year college, or pro scout can nominate a kid. But coaches who are members of our association, the high school coaches are the ones who can nominate their kids. You got to be a member. Membership has to have some benefits to be an ALABCA member, but they've already been sent out. They need to go ahead and nominate them now. A lot have been nominated already, but we're still getting travel ball coaches who are members of our association can nominate their players who play for them, the high school and JV kids who play for them. They can nominate players. So that's been sent to all these guys. They're helping out, and we're still taking nominations. So they need to contact then text me. Of course, I'm on the 334-676-0434, and I can get them with Johnny Johnson to send that link to them. And the Southeast Shootout's a big deal. You don't have to go through our event. We pick up from our All-Star event. The Southeast Shootout kids for our team, Alabama, or a college coach or pro scout to nominate those high-level kids without going to our event. And that's been a fun event. Kids are trying to win it. It's 3 outs. The score matters. We win gold, silver, bronze medals. We have a big gold cup, kind of like a Stanley Cup. The team gets to hoist and get a picture with, and they get a little smaller version to take home with them. That's been a fun, intense, good players. We live stream, Caleb, all our events, junior varsity, and shootout, Southeast Shootout. Jock Jive does a great job. So we're getting the kids exposure, and all the coaches in the Southeast know that we're live streaming all 3 of those events. They all get a letter in the mail for your coaches in 10 states, 200 coaches. The scouts know we are live streaming if they can't make it for free. The rosters are online. So we're doing everything we can do to make it current and relevant, our events, and to get the kids as much exposure as possible.
Barry, really appreciate you taking the time to join me here on the AHSAA podcast. For people out there, if you're looking to look into the ALABCA, just visit ALABCA.org. That's the website. You can find all the information on there, event dates, what Barry's doing. You can, if you feel the need to donate to what Barry's doing, and especially to the Miracle Leagues, there's a donate button on there. You can do that, but you can find all the information you need about the Alabama Baseball Coaches Association at ALABCA.org. And if you don't know much about the Alabama Baseball Coaches Association, I encourage you to go and look into it, look at what Barry does, because there's not really many people that do more for baseball in this state than what Barry and his association do there. So Barry, again, appreciate you taking the time to come on, kind of give everybody that information, and look forward to, it'll be here before you know it. We'll be out there and doing stuff. And so I look forward to being out there with you and, helping, trying to get all these kids, as you mentioned, scholarships and opportunities.
Hey, thanks so much, Caleb. R&B does a great job in getting the word out and what we do. And nowadays, that's a necessity. So we're just excited at what we're doing, and everybody coming on board, coaches and players, just makes it that much better. So please take advantage of us, and that's why we're here.
Appreciate it, Barry. Have a good one.
Thank you, Nat.
That's going to do it for us here on the AHSAA podcast. I want to thank Derek Wynn and Logan Patterson for taking the time to join me this morning. Really appreciate them coming on and being with me. I knew of Section High School. My dad is from Fort Payne, and my granddad coached at Fort Payne. And so, I've been around that area. I knew of Section, but, fantastic season that they had this year, 10 seniors. And, first time that we had gotten to see them there at the final since we started doing the radio broadcasts, and they came and they delivered. And like we talked about on there, Northeast Alabama right now, running the state when it comes to basketball. And you look at the teams that have come from there with Section, Plainview, Pisgah, all the teams from around that area that have had so much success over the last couple of years. You had Anniston getting there last year. He's around that area as well. So just a lot of success when it comes from that Northeast part of the state over there. And they were a part of it this year with what they did, and really impressive, really fun watching them play at the finals. And then appreciate Barry Dean coming on. I have a good relationship with Barry. Barry's a great guy, does a lot for people. Barry is always trying to give back to other people. He's always putting other people first, and appreciate him coming on, talking about what they have coming up. And look, if you are a baseball person, a baseball player listening to this, get involved with this stuff. Get your coach to nominate you for stuff to be a part of this. You get to go to Troy. You get to stay overnight. You get to meet guys that you would never meet before. And it was one of the most fun experiences that I ever had. I met guys at the events that ended up becoming my college teammates. We already had a relationship prior to playing in college because of Barry's events. And he does such a great job with this, the coaches convention he puts on every year, being a part of the Miracle League and donate money to Miracle Leagues all over the state. Really, really appreciate Barry and all that he does for baseball. And I'm happy to be a part of what he does with the ALABCA, with what I do and what I'm able to contribute. But none of it would be possible without Barry. He's done such a great job over the years. He really took control of that organization and really has made it maybe the top baseball coaches association in the whole entire country. But that's going to do it for us today on the AHSAA podcast. Coming up later on this week, I'm trying to get some wrestlers on. I know James Latona from Thompson High School, who won a state championship, is moving on to the Naval Academy. He's going to be on Friday's episode. Look forward to having him on there, and maybe getting a couple of other wrestlers on as well. And again, this is a new thing that we're doing. So if you're listening to this and you enjoy listening to it every week, please give me some guests that you want to hear, some coaches, some players, that are doing well during their spring sports, or, recruits, whatever it is, former players. I'm looking to get some former guys on, and guys that were big contributors in the HSA when they played. So, let me know, hit me up on social media, and tell me who they are. And if you can help me get in contact with them, great. Otherwise, I'll work on getting in contact with them, but trying to have as many different types of people on here as we possibly can. And if you listen to this, you enjoy it, send it to other people, get them to try to listen as well, because I think this is something that a lot of people could enjoy, hearing about high school sports and hearing from high school athletes, coaches, and people that are involved with it. So that'll do it for us in this episode. We'll be back Friday with the 8th episode of the AHSAA podcast.